Hey everyone, so this week our plan is actually to put a new pour table in our pour room here that I'm in right now. The reason being, we need to increase our production. Right now we only have two pour tables. We have a 4-foot by 8-foot table and a 10-foot by 5-foot table. So that means that we can only really work on 2 tables at a time, and we have way too many jobs coming in right now to only have 2 tables. So for that reason, we're adding a 3rd table. It's going to be 12 feet long, 6 feet wide, and we basically want to show you guys what it's going to take to reorganize this room, get everything rearranged and moved around so that we can fit this table in. We'll show you exactly what we use, and we'll also show you how we go about building a mold and doing a pour, so kind of the whole process. Now, we have done a how-to video in the past on epoxy mold building, but since then we've switched products. We didn't get to show you guys the whole process of building the pour table, so there's just some new information that we want to give you guys this time around, and I hope you enjoy the video. The pour table's in. It looks a lot different in here actually now. We kind of changed some things around, like over here you guys can see we've kind of condensed this area, so our barrels of chill used to be like directly underneath that sign there. Now we've just kind of condensed it this way. That way we can fit our medium-sized pour table right here. Our small pour table fits in this corner. We're still kind of working on cleaning this corner up, but it will kind of fit nicely here. And then obviously finally the big one goes right here. So this one is 12 feet long, 6 feet wide. Our medium-sized one is 10 feet long, 5 feet wide. And our small table is 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. So just depending on the size of project, we're able to use different tables to make sure that we're not wasting the square footage on here. So we're not doing like an 8-foot table on a 12-foot sheet. But now that that is all set up, we'll put some plastic on it, and then if you guys come out here, I'll show you what we want to do with this new pour table. Spencer's been putting that together, that black table, it's looking really good. And down here now, that slab right there, I believe, or actually it's that slab on the right, that's going to be for the next pour. So we're going to flatten it on the CNC, bring it back up here, and then it's actually getting cast in a smoky gray resin. But let's go take a closer look at the slab. This is the slab that we're going to be casting here. So right now we actually just literally noticed this. It's got a really bad cupping in. So which basically that just means that it's cupped like this over the width. This slab right now is 142 inches long. The table that we're going to be building from this is only 112 inches long. So we're going to be able to cut off this cup section and then just use all of this nice wood in here. And this particular piece has some really nice character, like just big inclusions, big knots. Those are all going to look really nice when we finish it up. When it's the next day, we've got, you guys saw yesterday, we got the actual aluminum pour table in here. It's set up just on some jack stands right now. But now we have to put a surface down on this pour table to make sure that our epoxy isn't going to stick to it. So we just use like this 2 mil thick plastic here. It works really well. I think it's a type of HDPE, which is high density polyethylene. You can get it in thicker pieces, thinner pieces. We just need a thin piece because we're putting it on the aluminum. We had to tape a seam in the middle because it doesn't come in a 6-foot wide roll. So we've taped that seam, and now we're actually just going around the perimeter and just using tuck tape to pull this sheet tight so it's going to be nice and flat and not have too many wrinkles in it after. Slab is in the mold. You can see it right here. We actually ended up building this mold on our medium-sized pour table that I told you guys about earlier. Here though, if you turn around, this is the new pour table, So the only reason we didn't do it on here is just because that fit better on that table. So if we were to put it on this table, we'd be wasting some of our valuable space. That one is only 112 inches long that we're going to be pouring today, whereas this table is 144 inches long. So it would just make more sense if we were to try and pour like an 11 or 12 foot table on here instead of like a 9 or 10 foot table, just to try and maximize our space. We're going to do this pour right now. We've calculated our epoxy, we're going to mix it up, and this is getting a smoky gray fill. So all these buckets are mixed up, 2-to-1 ratio. There's 10 liters of resin and 5 liters of hardener in each bucket. We've got 4 of them, so that's a total of 60 liters there. And then this particular client for this table, they've requested our smoky gray color. So we use the black onyx from Black Diamond. We use black diamond from Black Diamond. And then we also use the black liquid dye from Ecopoxy. You don't have to use Ecopoxy black dye. We really like the Ecopoxy black dye, but any other black dye would work for doing this. But I would definitely recommend using the Black Diamond pigments just so you can achieve that same look. When I make the smoky gray, I like to do equal parts of the onyx black and the Black Diamond, and then like 1 or 2 drops of the black dye. Honestly, we don't have a measurement. We just really go by eye.
First time today.
There's a big spot.
No, don't use that. Go down there now. Laugh. Pretty good, pretty good. Can I do like that?
All right, there we go. That's the pour. It's the next day now. It's been about 20 hours since we did this pour, and the first thing that you'll notice, if you were familiar with the way we would set up our Ecopoxy pours, there's no fans here and no air conditioners underneath the table, and that is simply because we're using the chilled deep pour. If we were still using a different epoxy that didn't allow for deep pours like this, we would have to have 2 big industrial fans. Like I'll show you guys this real quick. That's the kind of fans I'm talking about. If you do use a product besides chill deep pour, get yourself some fans like that to cool your pour, because without those fans, it can set up too fast, create bubbles, it can crack, and it's just not what you want at all. But what we've done, no fans on there. All we've done is we've used this unit here to control the temperature in the room. We got it set to 21 degrees right now. Chill recommends the optimum temperature to be 22 in the room, and by setting that to 21, it ends up making it about 22 degrees in here. I know that kind of doesn't make that much sense, but it does sit around 22 in here. And 20 hours later, if we check it out, we're at about 27.9, or right around 28 degrees for this pour. So that's really good. The only time when it becomes a problem is if your temperature exceeds, let's say, 50 to 60 degrees, then it's gonna set up too quickly. But being right around 27 to 30 degrees, that's perfect. So this will sit in here for probably about 5 to 7 days. We'll take it out, we'll be able to machine it, sand it, cut it, and finish up our work on this piece. But that's it for this week, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to explain, the benefits of chill and sort of our new process of building a mold. So I hope you guys have a really good understanding of the start to finish process of mold making and then actually doing the physical pour. That was kind of our goal with this video. Thank you for watching. If you want to be able to follow the process of this table, make sure you go check our Instagram. That'll be the best way to see live updates. You probably might still get to see it here in a YouTube video at some point, but Instagram is the quickest way to see things. And one more thing before we end this week's video that we wanted to ask you guys about and get your input is t-shirts and apparel. We have been thinking about releasing, you know, sort of some limited lines of t-shirts or maybe hoodies for a while now, but we want to get some input from you guys. So would you rather see t-shirts or hoodies? What kind of colors? Do you want big logos, small logos? Let us know anything you want to see in t-shirts, and we're going to take your guys' input and get some ordered up. But thanks for watching the video this week. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.